why you're failing at learning a language. So this video, I'm basically just going to go through a few things that you will probably be doing that are going to not necessarily completely screw you up, but they're going to slow you down, and yeah, some of them will derail you. So why I'm proud of you, basically. So I think it's a bit extreme to say no one actually likes themselves, but no one really is willing to try and become a better person. So if you clicked on this video to understand why you're struggling with learning a language potentially, I am proud of you for trying to become better. That's something that 99% of people don't do. Most people are only watching absolute rubbish and not helping themselves in any way. So yeah, I am proud of you. I just want to say that, give you a little boost off the bat. You're doing the right thing. You're going in the right direction where so many people aren't. So you're already ahead of everyone. You're absolutely in the right direction. You're in the right place. So top 5 vices. Sorry, I just wanted to say that because I know some people are they're so down and bad, like they think they're the worst because they can't learn a language. It's like you're going in the right direction. Top 5 vices. So there are 101 reasons why a beginner fails at language learning, or not necessarily fails, they're just not doing very well. And by that, I don't mean, obviously, you're a beginner, you're not going to be an expert, you're going to be slow, you're going to not know how to do all this stuff. I just mean kind of like stopping and starting and not really going anywhere. There are a lot of reasons why that can happen, but as far as vices go, vices are going to be the things that are stopping you the most. So a language learning device is what I'm going to define as a habit or activity that is pulling you away from your goals. So stopping you from your progress to mastering the language. Anything that pulls you away from that is a vice. And the 5 most common of which are these. So structure, we're going to go through all these as well. Structure, which is the poor education, the way you're learning is bad, it sucks. Number 2, perfectionism, laziness, and procrastination. So anything to do with you kind of putting stuff off, you don't really want to do it, that kind of thing. Motivation, momentum, and goals is number 3. This is a little bit different to laziness. It's more you don't see the point in it anymore. You try and give up, you almost try and surgically decide you don't really want to do it anymore to justify it to yourself. You're not seeing your goals through and you're kind of stopping and starting, that kind of thing. We'll talk about that then. 4, lack of boldness plus stagnant resources. That's an interesting one. I'm going to talk about how you're probably not trying hard enough, but I'll teach you about that. And 5 is an interesting one that no one I really heard has talked about that much because it applies to everything, not just language learning, and I really haven't seen it. So it'll surprise you, but it is probably the most important one overall, the most impactful. So as far as language learning goes, structure is going to be a really, really big one. So what structure basically is the order of things that you learn. So magically, not magically, what's the word I'm looking for? Hypothetically, Duolingo. I'm sure everyone's seen it. There's a tree. That is a structure because you go through and learn everything in order. And in theory, by the end, you know the language. Obviously, that's not always the case with some of the, less popular languages. It's not fully built. But that's a structure. And you can get plenty of structures. There's different orders people generally learn things in. Stop me if you've heard this before. When you are a beginner and you learn a language, you go, okay, I'm going to learn how to say hello, goodbye, numbers, colours, all these other things, and then you get stuck. I've done that before. Everyone's done that before. Everyone I've talked to. That is a pitfall because you don't have a structure. You're just learning random things. And that's okay at the very start. Obviously, I'll talk about this more in the perfectionist part, but you're always going to start somewhere. You're always going to make mistakes. That's okay. But I'm just trying to tell you here what I think you should do to try and get you to be even better. So structure is the order of things you're learning. I want you to try and adopt a structure. So if you want, you can literally copy Duolingo structure. There's nothing wrong with that. People trash it. If that's what you need to do as a beginner language learner, I would rather see you complete the Duolingo tree than do absolutely bugger all on a language. That's not bad. That is fine. You're allowed to do that. If you're a beginner, that is fine. So if you need to use the Duolingo tree, go through. Please do some other stuff as well, like other reading, watching stuff, that kind of thing, because obviously just doing Duolingo is not the best. But yeah, and if you want to look for a structure elsewhere, literally just type in order of things I should learn in a language, or, which is really good, I will link the Russian website I'm using right now. It's literally a website. Find a website that has everything you could possibly need to learn the language, and it just explains everything. The only thing it obviously doesn't have is all of the words, because you're not going to read a dictionary of words, you're going to read books for that. But yeah, find a website like that. I'll link the one I use for Russian. It's literally got a tab. You click on the tab, it takes you to a different page of the website. It's got literally everything. You can go do it in order, or you can do it in whatever order you feel like. But yeah, find something like that. Have an actual order. Have a game plan. Know what you're going to learn next. Yeah, and the language of beast structure is how you slay it. Most experts will I've heard a lot of people talk about, you shouldn't use Duolingo, you should do this and that. There's a bunch of people saying different things, and then what ends up happening is you do nothing, because everyone said different things, and there's all this rubbish of people saying Duolingo sucks and all this kind of thing. this isn't to say that it's the best perfect thing and you should only use it, but if you're a beginner, do it. If that works for you. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. It's as simple as that. So yeah, you do what works for you. You need a structure that is language learning 101. I don't just go through the dictionary and pick out random Russian words when I'm learning. I have a structure. I learn pronouns first, so like I, you, he, she, they. I learn basic verbs. I learn greetings probably next, just sprinkle that in. Then I start learning basic vocab. I start learning more verbs and verb conjugation. I can make a video on my own personal structure. In fact, I will. And I might actually put it on something else as well. That's a bit of a secret at the moment. I'll talk about that in a later video. But yeah, to beat this problem, you need a structure. That's all you need to do. Number 2, perfectionism, laziness, and procrastination. So, guys, say this to yourself. Do you want to actually learn a language, yes or no? The answer is yes. So, here's a life hint. You're never going to feel like doing things you love all of the time. It doesn't matter if you want to make money or learn a language or literally anything. You're never going to feel like all of it all the time. You're going to not want to do it. So the number one speed secret is doing stuff even when you don't feel like it. And this is called discipline. You've probably heard that word before. You might know what it means. You might not know what it means. It just means when you don't feel like something that you know you need to do, you force yourself to do it because you need to do it. It's good for you. So if you ever don't feel like learning a language, you need to do it, which is why routine is so important. So I would recommend, it doesn't have to be a locked in, absolutely solid steel, you're going to cut your own hand off as a punishment if you break it routine, but I would recommend you have something. So ideally, a few hours a week minimum would be great. An hour a day would be excellent, but I know that's not always possible. Potentially first thing you do before breakfast, just maybe half an hour before breakfast every day, or yeah, anything like that. You do that and then you journal and read at night before bed. Maybe watch a few videos, not too close to bed obviously, because that's probably not the best for you, but yeah, something like that. You can listen to an audiobook before bed. That won't be bad for your eyes or your sleep or anything. So yeah, things like that are a good routine to have, and they do kind of help to stave away laziness. Obviously, you need a bit of grit. That's never going to be 100% staving away the laziness. You need to just be a bit tough sometimes. But yeah, that's how it works. And yeah, I think you should just know, life doesn't care if you're tired. So you can say you're tired, you can say you're sick, you can say your eyeballs don't work anymore. You can say anything you want, whether it's true, fiction, somewhere in between. At the end of the day, if you don't learn a language, if you don't look at the language stuff, put it through your eyeballs into your brain and learn it, you don't know the language. So it doesn't matter what you say. You should be trying to do it. You should be forcing yourself to do it. And yeah, life doesn't care that you're tired. If you say, I don't have enough time to do this, or you don't want to do this, life is going to respond by slowing you down and not gifting you the ability to speak that language. And that's just how it works. So perfectionism as well is kind of, it has a lot in common with laziness. It's basically working for the so-called perfect system. Like, oh, you don't want to learn a language because you think this is a waste of time. I think this is a big one. People start learning a language and then they feel like they're just not going to learn it anyway. They have self-doubt, so they stop. And what that actually is perfectionism. So you're stopping learning a language not because it's too difficult or anything. You're stopping because you just see it and you're like, oh, this isn't working. I need to have the perfect way that's guaranteed to work. I don't want to invest my time into something that's not going to reward me. And that's fair. That's valid. Nobody wants to invest their time into something that's, obviously, it's tedious, like learning a language, and then get nothing out of it. Like, nobody wants to go to the gym, lift weights for a bit, and then have nothing to show for it. No, like, that'd just be the worst. You need to get it out of your head that language learning is going to be a waste of time. Doing anything to do with language learning is helping you. You learn as you learn. So when I started off and I was buggering around on Duolingo looking at dumb shit, like just random things for language learning, I don't regret that because I didn't know any better. I needed to learn how to learn a language. I'd never done it before. English doesn't count. I just listened to my parents talk. So yeah, you need to not be a perfectionist and wait for a perfect system. This is kind of like a fat person waiting to discover the perfect workout, or an ignorant person wanting the perfect teacher. You just need to start. Like, don't wait for something. Don't think, oh, investing my time is not going to have a return. It will have a return. If you put effort in, you keep trying, you will learn the language. There are millions and billions of people who have learned multiple languages before you. It's not impossible. It has been done. Say that to yourself. Tell yourself you can do it. It will be done. And do not ever give up. You need to keep going. Even if you know nothing about learning a language, just be disciplined, be humble, know that you're not perfect, and just keep going. I'll have a link in the description to a video to watch after this, and that you're definitely not following these things if you have language problems. So I would recommend you watch that after this. But yeah, moving on. If I can move the slide, sorry. Actionable step. I want you to ask yourself why you're learning the language. So everyone has at least some reasons. Some people might have a few reasons. I think most people probably have more than one. Is it for fun, travel? Are you learning it for to go to that country? Are you planning on a holiday trip? Do you want to live there? That kind of thing. Are you going to work there? Is your partner or you going to, or anything like that, someone in your family speaks that language? Maybe it's just a friend and you want to talk to your friend because you think that's cool. That's absolutely fine. Or is it for excellence? Obviously, these things all have a crossover and you can have more than one. But yeah, is it for excellence? Do you want to become a polyglot? Is that something you want to put on your resume? Is that the identity you want to have? You're a person who speaks a bunch of different languages. You want to, you don't, I was going to say you want to become Jason Bourne. That was, don't go around killing people. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool to know a bunch of languages. There's nothing wrong with saying, I want to do this. This is cool. It's my hobby now. It's mine. So yeah, even though you need to stay disciplined and you need to force yourself to learn even when you don't want to, there's nothing wrong with motivation. This is your fuel. So yeah, some people will say with things, oh, motivation's garbage. Motivation is garbage because it doesn't always work for you. But that doesn't mean it's complete garbage. I think it's not the best thing to only rely on, but if it's there, you use it as fuel. You need to think about why you're learning a language and use that to force yourself to keep going, because everyone has a reason they want to, and you're going to be disappointed if you don't get there. So yeah, don't forget why you're learning. You have a purpose, and the only way to get from A to B is to drive through rain or through snow. It doesn't matter how bad you feel, or like you really don't, by bad, I mean you don't feel like learning the language that day. Do not give in. Keep going. You will get there. I believe in you. I've done it before. I believe in me. Hopefully you believe in me as well. So I'm going to return the favor and believe in you. I said that. I don't know who's watching this video. I believe in you. If you keep trying, you will learn the language. You will do it. One of the biggest derailers as well is momentum. So if you stop, start, you learn less because you're not consistently doing it. You're not stacking, and it's more difficult as well. So why would you do it? Don't stop and start. You're putting in potentially the same amount of time. You're just putting massive gaps in between. So you're not going to learn. It's going to be really irritating. And yeah, you need to set yourself a tangible goal. So obviously it's difficult. As a beginner, you can't set yourself a strict goal like saying, oh, I'm going to be able to do exactly this at exactly this time, because you don't know how long it's going to take, and that's normal. So you kind of need to set a bit of a flexible goal. Like, so you could say, in 12 months of learning Italian, I'm going to buy the first Harry Potter book, and I'm going to try and read it, and if I can't read it, that's fine. You can still read it. I'm putting up air quotes now. You can read the words without knowing what they mean, and that's fine. You can do that if you want, and you can get parallel text up. You can get the English copy next to you, and you're going to read it and write out the words and try and learn it. Even if you can't read it, maybe you can't even read one single word. Maybe 12 months from now, you don't even know the word ill. You don't even know that ill means that, and you still want to try and read it. Obviously, I'm being silly. You will know that, and you will be able to read plenty of it. But yeah, that's the kind of flexible goal I'm talking about. And yeah, you'll seek help if it's really bad. But that's fine. That's the kind of goal you need to set yourself. I'd also recommend stacking your wins. So when you're feeling weak, I want you to think about the times you also felt weak and you didn't quit. So that's why kind of momentum is so important. If you push through when you don't feel like doing something and you do your half an hour or however long you set yourself, you set a timer or anything, and then the next day or whenever you feel like not doing it again, you can think back, hang on, last time I wanted to quit and I didn't. I kept going. I wanted to just end the learning session early, and I kept going, and I've achieved my goals so far. That's stacking your wins, and that gives you motivation and confidence, and it validates you as a person because you kept going when you wanted to stop, and that makes you not want to stop even more. You can also stack losses, which is kind of where you start giving up, and then it's easy to give up. You do not want to stack losses. You can imagine when you start quitting some things, it makes it easy to quit other things. Same with winning, except you actually have to win to do that. So give yourself the win, keep going, do not give up ever. That's basically motivation, momentum, and goals, but yeah, keep going. Lack of boldness plus stagnant resources. So chances are you're not being bold enough with your journey. What I mean by this is, let's define bold. So showing a willingness to take risks, confident and courageous. I want to ask you a few things. Would you try talking to a native speaker right now? You more than definitely know someone, and if you don't, you could always hire a tutor online or anything like that. You're welcome to contact me as well. I've put my email in the description. If you need me to ask me any questions or anything, I'm happy to help you. Would you buy a book or spend money to better learn the language? Obviously, you don't want to spend tons of money, but would you be willing to buy at least one book and try reading it? Do you care if others find out you're learning a language? Are you trying to keep it a secret? Would you holiday in the country if you could? And if you did, would you talk to people or at least try to ask some questions? I've written 100. There are a million things holding you back because you're too afraid. There is never an excuse not to be confident, though. If you want something, if you want to learn a language, you need to keep going and you need to be confident with that. So it's never comfortable. I remember where I worked in a restaurant, one guy, this was months ago as well, I still don't know French now. He just mentioned that he knew French, and I said, I don't speak French very well to him in French. and it was quite not the best, but I tried, and I said it, and he smiled because he understood what I said. That must mean he wasn't from Paris, because allegedly people from Paris, it doesn't matter, we're not going to get into that. I'm going to get someone asking me where I live in the comment section, but yeah, Brisbane, there you go, you can try and find me from that. If you want something, you need to be prepared to fight for it. So yeah, this links to resources as well. So as I said with the book, The Talking to People, those are all resources. You're probably not taking full advantage of the resources you have for language learning. So yeah, if you're not willing to put in work into finding high quality resources and the best methods to learn, you're slowing yourself down. So yeah, have that confidence. Have that boldness, be willing to go after this. All right, I'm going to look online. I know what my problem is. I know I'm struggling with, say, verb conjugation or anything. I'm going to find a bunch of different videos. I'm going to watch all of them. I'm not going to stop until I understand perfectly. And I'm going to ask someone if I know, and I'm going to talk to them in that language and all that kind of stuff. Force yourself, because once you do it, you stack confidence as well, just like you stack wins. That is a win, because you've been bold when you wouldn't want to. So yeah, you should do that. Number 5, focus. So if you guess, which probably no one even made a guess because I didn't tell you to guess what it would be. Yeah, focus in the mind is probably the most important thing for learning. I'm mostly going to focus on focus. That's what we're focusing on. It's the holy grail of learning problems, not only with language learning, with everything. And I haven't heard enough people talk about it. It's ridiculous. I have heard some people mention it, but yeah. The truth is, most people actually can't learn anything. If you're struggling with learning a language, chances are you can't really learn anything. And what I mean by that is not that you literally, your brain is you're so dumb you can't learn anything. I mean, you haven't equipped yourself to learn things. You're not actually trying to learn. You might think you are because you're getting frustrated, but you're not even attempting to learn. You're constantly distracted. You've got your phone, you're thinking about life. You've ruined your attention span by watching short form, just absolute rubbish. Your dopamine receptors are absolutely fried. You've killed your ambition because you have never really set a goal and tried to achieve it, I think it's kind of sad in school that they don't, even in like grade 2, they don't ask everyone to set themselves one goal. Like, even if it's, I'm going to do one push-up like every day, like I think we should get kids to do that in school, like try and set themselves a task and achieve it, because that's so good for you. That's so good for your ambition to be able to set yourself tasks, because at the end of the day, once you go into life, like throughout your whole life, throughout your decades of life, you need to be able to set yourself goals. You can't just have people tell you what to do, like how we're kind of trained in school. So I do think that's a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, you've destroyed your learning capacity. You've got poor sleep. You don't eat properly. You don't have a routine for anything. And yeah, that's why you can't learn. You're not learning. You've ruined everything that can help you learn stuff. So I'm going to teach you how to get over that. This is one of the biggest problems, and it's not something that's talked about. If you're doing these things, you're probably learning at 10%, and that's not good enough. Nobody wants to learn at 10%. Imagine if you had to drive at 10% the speed limit. There'd be more accidents because people would kill each other, in my opinion. So to learn quicker and easier, you need to improve your focus. I'm going to make a video exclusively on this soon, because it's one of the things I think is most important. It's probably one of my biggest achievements, improving my own focus. And yeah, I'll try and put a link in the description on focus and improving your ability to learn through focus. But yeah, stay tuned. I will have videos on this. I will have a video on, because I'm going to start doing book reviews as well, and channel reviews for good channels for language learning to send you to them. But with book reviews, I'm going to review a book called Deep Work by Newport. I'll try and put a link for that in the description as well. I would definitely recommend you check it out. You can even find it online for free. I didn't tell you to do that, but yeah, it's possible. It's really, really good for teaching yourself to focus and learn. So yeah. The best way to improve focus, though, if I just mention this quickly, is doing more non-highly stimulating activities. So reading, eliminating, and reducing highly stimulating activities. So yeah, like anything short form that's going to give you instant pleasure that you don't have to work for. Anything that's like going to try and make you happy where you don't have to do anything for it. Instant gratification, that should be reduced or gone altogether. And yeah, improving your sleep and diet is going to help you as well with focusing. There's so much stuff to talk about this. I can't talk about it here. This is me addressing the 5 major problems. I think I've addressed the other 4 fairly well. This one requires more talking about, but yeah, your focus is why you can't learn. I will have another video up. So yeah, just to summarize, the best learners don't just build the best habits, they eliminate the worst ones. You need to find out what your worst habits are and get rid of them, and these 5 things I think are the main ones people struggle with, and I've kind of done my best to tell you how to get rid of them. If you have any further problems, please comment down below. I respond to every comment, because we've got I think at the moment we've got 73 or 74 subscribers, so yeah, it's pretty easy. I can see all the comments. Yeah, so get in before we blow up and hit 10 million subscribers, which will never happen, but I'll try. I'm happy to help anyone. You're also welcome to email me. I'll put my email in the description below. Any problems, I'll help you guys out. So yeah, I'll have some links in the description to some of my other videos that could potentially help you. Some websites as well. I'll try and link that book I mentioned. And yeah, that's all. If you're looking to learn a language as well, I recommend you check out my website. It's called Head of State Language Learning. That'll be top link in the description. It's completely free. There's no sign up. You can go through, pick the language you want to learn, and it's got a bunch of resources for them in the order like I've talked about before. But as opposed to other websites where there's Duolingo, which is the tree is, it's good for beginners, as I said, but it's a bit scuffed. And then there's obviously like websites that are kind of just made by a dude for one language. This website is going to have every language with resources for every language in the order, explanations, and it's also going to have blogs, articles, a bit about me, that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, I'd recommend you check it out. I am still making it, so it doesn't currently completely work, but honestly, if you just have a look at it, have a look at the thing, and then please, you're welcome to give me feedback in the comments how you want. Even if it's just the artistic style you want me to change, do it, because I'm not a web developer. It's been challenging for me, but yeah, I'm being disciplined with that as well. So yeah, and a like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. It makes me feel better because I do put in a lot of my free time into these things and trying to help people and, you know, trying to make the world a better place. So yeah, if you could like and subscribe, I'd feel happy. It makes me happy seeing that the numbers got a little bit bigger overnight. But yeah, thank you guys, and I hope you enjoyed.